Welcome to the Turning Lemons into Lemonade podcast. Each week, your host, Amy Mewborn, business strategist and advisor, will bring you the stories of how successful women entrepreneurs turn their tragedies into triumphs to create the businesses that are changing the world today. And now, your host, Amy Mewborn.
Welcome, Christy. Thank you so much for being here. I'd like you to start this morning by telling us, how did you get started in your business?
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me, Amy. My journey, I actually kind of fell into the work that I'm doing. So after college, I had found myself in a job that was just very unsatisfying. It didn't fulfill me in any avenue. And I started to have a conversation with myself, just what can I do with mind-body connection, because it's something that I've always been interested in. And hypnosis popped in my head, which was a very random thought. So I had followed that intuition and started doing research. And then 2 weeks later, I started taking my training. And I found that as I was doing that, it just fit perfectly. So that's really the way that I started with all of this is, just listening to the guidance that I had from within, and then just going forward with what it was that I was learning.
Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit about your business as it is today. What do you do and how do you do it?
Oh, great question. I help people to shine light on their shadows, to understand that mindset really is everything, and to show up as a powerful creator in their life so they can create a life that they don't have to escape from. Where every day was like that beautiful day on the beach. It's just very easy, very tranquil, and everything feels like it's working for you. So I help people to really reconnect to their authentic self.
So tell me, what is your secret sauce? How do you do that? Because I will tell you that I think that as entrepreneurs, sometimes we're so focused on achievement that we forget why we started something in the first place or what we really want out of our life. So what are you doing that's different than what's going on in the marketplace that really helps us kind of identify who we are and how we get there?
Mm-hmm. I help people to really take off all of their masks and know that wherever they are in this moment, it is perfect. It's fine. Like this moment right now has got you to the person that you are, everything that you have experienced. So I help to hold that space for giving someone permission to really start to release the shoulds. I should be doing X, Y, and Z, and start to get clear on who it is that they want to be and how they want to show up in the world. Like, what are you here to do? Like, what's your great gift and accomplishment? So it's all about holding that space for them of that grander vision until they can see it and experience it for themselves.
So tell me, how are people finding you? Are they coming to you and they know that things are out of whack and out of balance? Or are they hearing you speak somewhere and thinking, wow, she's totally understanding some of my biggest struggles right now, and I really need to talk to her?
Yeah, a little bit of both, actually. So a lot of times when someone comes to me, they will come to me believing that we're going to be working on one thing. And then, so what I like to say is, that's great. We'll work on that later. But first we need to, really get clear on who it is that you are and do a lot of introspection with everything. So, but the great thing is, after people are hearing me speak and, listening to how what I'm talking about is resonating with them, they're reaching out and saying, I definitely need more of this, because it's going to help me to step into that better version that we're all meant to become.
I love everything you're saying, just because I am the type A business owner that believes that I should do this, 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 and this, and everything should be in its place. And I actually, just over the past 6 or 7 months, have started meditating each morning. And I will tell you that when I first started, and I've tried for years, but I have a problem getting my brain to just turn off. And so once I really made it a daily practice, it's now one of my favorite times of my day, because once I'm done, I kind of feel like wow, I feel like I have a lot more clarity, or I feel refreshed in such a way that I can tackle the next thing on my agenda. So tell me, as you've been building a business like this, what have some of your struggles been?
Like so many other women, my one of my biggest struggles has been finding that balance with family and business. Like you were talking about, having the meditation first thing in the morning. Well, first thing for my morning, I get woken up by a child. So it's finding that balance of making sure that I'm meeting my own needs as well as my family's needs and my business's needs. And what I'm discovering is that there is no perfect balance. Some days it's heavier on one thing, others, some of the other aspects. And as long as you have that overall balance, like that's really what we're striving for, and making yourself feel peaceful with the process.
So tell me, what does a current work week look like for you?
Current work week is get up, spend about 2 hours with my husband and daughter before they go off to school, and then during the day from about 9 to 3 is when my heavy work takes place. So I am very focused during that time, and then after that time, pick up the daughter, and then it's family time after that. Doing everything that the house and everyone needs. So yeah, my day is mostly during the midday portion.
A few years ago, I was first introduced to coaching through Dan Sullivan. He's known as the strategic coach, and he's in Canada. And he talked a lot about, he called it strategic urgency. And he said, when you allocate this chunk of time, and this is the amount of time that you have to get the work done, you sit down and you're way more focused, and you're not checking Facebook and all over social media or all of the things that so often can be a huge time suck during the day. And so by creating that little container of work, you're just way more present in it, and you do a much better job. I love that you have that. And I always like to ask, just because a lot of times there are a lot of people that really just kind of go with whatever comes up during the day. Whereas I have found that the people that are the happiest in their business have some element of structure to their day that allows the work and the personal to both take priority.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you're so right with that, because the amount of time that it takes for something to be accomplished will expand for the amount that you're giving it. So if you don't have any restrictions or boundaries on that, it is going to take a long time to finish that project.
Completely true. It's actually been proven. It's called Parkinson's principle, and it's exactly that things expand to the time that we allot. So yeah, I love that. So tell me about the lemons that you've had in your business. What is like the worst day or the biggest challenge that you had to turn around and make into something good to be able to take the next step?
Yeah. For me, that day was actually when I was working with a client. I had been working with her, for several months, and we had gotten to a point where she had started to need to make some significant changes. And one day she said, I need to stop working with you. She said, you see a bigger future for me than what I want to see for myself. I don't want to be that person. Like, I'm happy staying small and not accomplishing the things. And so we parted ways. And so for me, that was a really big learning lesson of saying, you can lead people to everything that they want, but they need to be the ones to take that step. And really that I'm not meant to serve everyone in every capacity, so the more that I'm able to focus on those people who are really ready and who want me and know that they need what I have to offer, it's then when I'm able to really start to show up more fully and appropriately for everyone.
That's a huge lesson, I think, for every single person in business, is that we see a series of possibilities for ourselves, for our clients, and they may not be the same possibilities that our clients even want. And by saying to yourself, I'm not meant to work with everyone. I'm meant to work with the people that want to go here or want to be this, then you have kind of this natural selection where the people that really get you and your message resonates with them are all in, and the people that wouldn't have been all in are normally the ones that push you off or just flat out don't take action at all.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. And that was a big learning lesson. Because I'm like, why don't you want more company? Like, and I had to do a lot of soul searching of saying, like, is this me or is this you? Like, what is going on? And that clarity really helped me to figure out like how I needed to move forward with my business. So it's a beautiful gift that she offered me by saying, she wasn't at that place.
So not too long ago, I went and did something with a girlfriend. It was called Landmark Forum. And it was really interesting to me because it talked a lot about our future possibilities, but also how we were getting in the way of all of these things based on stuff that was going on in our head from our past. And, so often we take the things that we think have happened to us in a certain way and we make them so much bigger in our minds and in our hearts, and we often keep replaying these things, and they end up being the cause often for us not achieving the things we want to achieve, or even taking some of the chances we want to take, or any number of things. So tell me, how do you work with your clients to break through some of that? Because that, I think, is a tremendous challenge. We have to be willing to see it. We have to be willing to own it, and then we have to be willing to release it.
Yes. Yeah. And that's a big task, to go through all of those things. Mm-hmm. So what I suggest to all of my clients is that they spend one day just observing and being the witness to their inner dialogue. Like, what is it that you're saying to yourself all day long? And you're typically going to be finding a theme or, an underlying core belief that you have. Mm-hmm. And then once you have that awareness, really taking a hard look at that and saying, are these beliefs, thoughts supporting where I want to go? Mm-hmm. And if they're not, then which ones am I ready to start shifting? And even if it's, starting with the fact that I'm open to changing this belief about myself, because that awareness really is the first step in order to make a big change.
Wow. That's tremendously powerful. So tell me, what are some of the resources that you feel have really been helpful in you growing your business to where you are today?
The first one would be getting clear on who it is that I'm serving. What am I wanting to do with all of that? The second is surrounding myself with a really fabulous network of people who are holding the vision of me and my business, that they can see that greater vision for me and they will help me to get there. And then really the last one is to tap into that deeper part of the innateness that we all have of saying, I have these desires for a purpose, for a reason, right? It's because I'm meant to fulfill all of these things. So the more that I can lean into that trust of this desire that's coming forth, the more I'm deeply motivated to get over any kind of difficulty or obstacle that is presenting me, because I'm connected to that bigger why of why I'm doing it and why it's so important to go through the effort to make those changes.
That's awesome. So tell me, what is one piece of advice that you would give to a woman who was launching or growing a business that you think would really help her take that next step?
It would be really to connect again with that deeper part and remember that you're here with a purpose, you're here for a purpose, and the world needs you. You don't have to have everything right or perfect. Mm-hmm. The world needs you to show up right now where you are, because people are looking for exactly what it is that you have to offer, no matter if it's similar to anyone else, because no one can deliver that thing that you have exactly in the same way. So just allow yourself really to embrace who it is that you are and to start shining your light and let people know that you're there.
That is such a huge lesson. One of my mentors, Ryan Levesque, has this quote, and it plays in my head at least 3 to 5 times a week. And what he says is you don't have to get it perfect. You just have to get it going. And, the thing about business is so often we're afraid to put ourselves out there because we're afraid of what someone's going to think of us. And it isn't until you put something out there and you get a response to it that you know how you need to tweak it or what you need to do differently. And so I've always loved that phrase and that quote from him. And I love that you just kind of reinforced that we must be willing to just put ourselves out there. And I think a lot of times the freedom or the fear is the stuff that's going on in our head, and it's not real.
Right. Absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
It's all that story that we keep telling ourselves about why we can't do that or why we're not good enough. When the reality is, if you have that desire, you also have the ability to make that a reality.
Yeah.
So just allow yourself to do it.
So tell me, what are you working on in your business right now that you're really excited about?
My big thing for this year is I'm working on greater visibility. So I'm doing a lot of speaking engagements, live events, things like that. So, I have a lot of upcoming summits and, places where I'm able to spread my message in a larger arena, just to help reach more people, which is what it's all about.
Awesome. And where can our listeners find you?
They can certainly find me on my website, which is powerful-mind, mind.com, or I'm, certainly on Facebook or Instagram predominantly.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time today. This was so fun, and I look forward to chatting with you again soon.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. And, I'd love to offer your audience a free gift to help shift from some of the, the negative beliefs into some of the more empowering beliefs. Mm-hmm. So they can find that on my website, powerful-mind.com/belief change. And it'll walk you through how to make those changes.
And that belief change, is there a hyphen in between belief? Okay, perfect. So it's all together. Fabulous. Well, we will make sure that we link all that in the show notes. But if you happen to be listening to this in the car or on a treadmill, it's that powerfulmind.com/belief change, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. You're doing great work here.
Thanks.
Today we talked about the importance of having publicity and getting out in the community in growing your business. So if you would like our free checklist on how to increase your visibility and publicity in your business, please go to lemonadepodcast.com.
Thank you for listening to Turning Lemons into Lemonade, where women go for support and encouragement to hear how other women business owners turn their setbacks into successes to create 6- and 7-figure businesses. We look forward to seeing you next week.